What's up, everybody? You know, I get asked all the time, how big do ball pythons get? A lot of people consider these animals as pets, and I think they make great ones. But one of the most common questions I'm asked is, how big will a ball python get? People hear the word python and they automatically think huge, ginormous snakes, the things that they've seen in movies. And the reality is ball pythons are so popular partially because they don't really get that big. You know, the average male is somewhere between 2 to 3 feet in length, maybe a little bit longer than that if they're on the bigger side. Females, 4 to 5, would be really large. However, I never measured the length of my snakes because, well, you know, you can't just get them to stand up on the doorpost while you mark it. You know, they're very hard to measure. Some people will measure sheds, and I just want you to know that's a very inaccurate way to measure your snake. The sheds flatten out and they stretch, and so you're going to get a much longer length if you're measuring sheds. But I'm not here to talk about length today. I'm really just going to talk about my biggest ball python. So the best way to give you an idea of how big these guys can get is to show you my monsters. So I've got 4 females I'm going to show you today, and then at the end I'll bring in my largest male just to show him off and kind of compare what the difference is, because males, they get a decent size, but females definitely are larger on average, although there can be some exceptions there on the smaller end of females and the larger end of males. But without further ado, let's take a look at my 4th largest female. Well, this, guys, is Thunder. She's a little bit strong today. She's a little bit lighter probably than usual based on what I just found in her enclosure. Hopefully she doesn't mess with the mic here too bad, but she's trying to rip it off. She's strong. She would actually classify currently as my 4th largest female, which is actually pretty impressive considering that just a few months ago, I don't remember exactly when it was she laid. She gave us our biggest clutch of the year, 11 eggs. The clutch weighed over 1,300 grams. So she laid over 1,300 grams, and yet here she is still my 4th largest ball python in my collection. This girl is an absolute doll. She is sweet, although she is a little adventurous. She likes to move around. She is an amazing, amazing feeder. And she's been an awesome breeder for us. She has been rock solid. She actually gave us our first clutch of eggs ever as 7th level reptiles. I had a breeding try many years ago, over a decade ago. But she gave us our first clutch of eggs in 2018 when we started back up the breeding operation. And so she's just an absolute sweetheart. Right now, she is just south of 3,000 grams. So to give you an idea, that's about, I think it's about 5.5 pounds. I should have done the math before I got on here, but a gram is just over, or a pound is just over 400, about 454 grams roughly. So she's just south of, man, she's giving me a workout today. She's just south of 3,000 grams, even after laying. Let's see if I can back up here to try and show off her length. So I'm 6 feet tall. So you can see she stretches across from one hand, not all the way out, but across my body. So she's probably every bit of 4.5 to 5 feet long. And she's just nice and thick. She's healthy. She's not overweight. She's not skinny, as you can see. I know it's not polite to talk about that. I'm sorry. But this is number 4. She is a pastel Inchie, and she was the mother to our Super Inchie clutch this year. That gave me that awesome bamboo Super Inchie that I was shooting for, as well as a couple of the others. But she's a doll. She's a sweetheart. She's right about 3,000 grams. Let's take a look at the next. All right, and welcome back. We're here with number 3, our 3rd largest ball python. She is a Mojave, and if you saw our clutch this year that had the blue-eyed leucistics, this is the mom to that clutch. Some very cool and unique babies. That's also the clutch where we had that surprise Krypton show up. So even though I don't know for sure, I think she's probably het cryptic, but I can't say that for sure. And honestly, it's not important enough for me to try and get her shed tested. I don't even know if they have shed tests for cryptic yet or not, but she is just over 3,200 grams. So that's 7.5 pounds or so. One of these days I'm going to do the math, but if you take 3,200 and divide it by 454, you'll get her pound weight in pounds. She also gave us like 9 eggs this year, a big 1,100 gram clutch. So even after that, she's been back on food feverishly now. I think she's getting ready to breed again, the way she's eating, and is putting the weight back on there. But again, she's a nice, healthy, you can see she's a big, long snake. She's healthy. She's chunky, but not obese. Like, she doesn't have anything rolling over the top of her spine a little bit. That happens sometimes during breeding season as these girls really, really start to eat. I try to limit that as much as possible, back off if they start to look a little rotund. But this girl doesn't look overweight at all. She's nice and healthy. She's long and sleek. And you can see, again, she's longer than my arm and across my body. So she's probably every bit of 5 feet long. Although she doesn't feel to me like she's as long as Thunder is. But yeah, so 3,220 grams. Woo! Big, beautiful girl. And would you look at this dreamy girl? This is our lavender albino het piebald female Aphrodite. She is a beauty. And one thing that's been unique about her, she never slowed down eating. A lot of times, female ball pythons, when they get to that 1,000 to 1,200 gram range, a lot of them I've seen kind of start to become a little more picky eaters. They'll go through kind of a phase where they don't want to eat some weeks, and then they'll eat, and they'll maybe take a few weeks off. She never did that. In fact, she's kind of like the garbage can. I've not had extra rats that I've had to feed her lately, but as she was growing up, she would always take anybody's leftovers. She is a big girl. Now, she did not lay for us this year, unfortunately. She is my best hope for dreamsicles, which if you watch any of the videos, you know we didn't hit that this year. Look at that girl. She's huge. She's thick. Now, she's a little bit, not quite overweight, but she's kind of on the cusp, which is why I don't want to feed her anymore, especially since she didn't lay last year. I'm hoping that means that she'll give us one heck of a clutch this year that'll be full of dreamsicles. But she is just over, she's 3665, so just over 3,600 grams. That's about 8 pounds of body weight, and she is a sweetheart. She really has been ever since day one, though she is a little head shy. She is just the sweetest little thing, and not little thing, but we like to use her to introduce people to because she's just so sweet. But she's a very impressive ball python at over 5 feet and 8 pounds. It's a big girl. Isn't she gorgeous, though? Look at her. She is a lavender albino het pied, and look at those colors. If they're coming through, she is beautiful. So that is number 3. Believe it or not our biggest. This is number 2. I think I just said number 3, but number 2. But number 1 in our hearts, this is Aphrodite. All right, I'm actually a little tired wrestling these big girls, but I thought I would put her on the table and we'll reveal our number 1 largest. She's really not that much heavier than Aphrodite, who we just looked at, who, by the way, had her first lock this week, so we're really excited about that. But this girl is not original to us. She's a clown girl I picked up over the summer. She was actually a little heavier. Let me get her. I might need some help. She was actually a little heavier when I got her, but I felt like she was just almost too big. So we kind of put her on a diet while she was in quarantine to get her body weight down a little bit so that the constitution of her body looked a little more healthy. And she's looking great. She's eating well now. She's been out of quarantine for a few weeks, and she's a loving. She wants to crawl up in that rack and hide. Maybe she's looking for her boyfriend again. But man, she is she's all over the place. She is just a single expression clown. So we're excited to put her into the rotation this year. I mean, but when I saw her, I just fell in love. And I love big snakes, and she looked huge, but also like she needed maybe a little bit more care on the weight department. But last time I weighed her 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, she was 3,880 grams. That's 8.5 pounds. I might throw her on just to get a quick weight, but she's moving around a little bit too much for it right now. So 8.5 pounds. She's just massive. Hopefully you can tell just the girth of this animal, and you can tell like she's built for it. She's got the frame for it, because again, she's not obese. She's maybe a little bit close. I think the smaller meals that we were giving her after she came to us helped kind of get her body constitution back where it needed to be. But hopefully she had her first pairing this week with a first-time breeder male, and I think they logged them, not 100% sure. But funny enough, she's my largest female, and she went with my youngest and smallest breeding male. So it was pretty wild to look at this 1.5 pound. He's between 1.5 and 2 pounds, and she's 8.5 pounds. And he wasn't shy though. They were cuddling together and having a good time. Now, one thing about this snake, I mentioned we got her over the summer. She's just out of quarantine. She doesn't have a name yet. So here's what I want you to do. Give me some suggestions in the comments. What do you think I should name this girl? Woo! She is all over the place. Man, I should do this every day with these big girls. They're giving me a workout. See if I can get her to stay still on the camera. Show everybody that pretty mug. So what do you think? Give me your name ideas in the comments. And stay tuned, because we're going to look at the largest male. All right, so we're going to try this. Don't kill me. I apologize for the audio issues, because I'm sure she's messing up the audio. She does not want to settle down. I wanted to try and compare them side by side, but she didn't want to cooperate with that. Let's see if I can get her to wrap me up a little bit. Come on. On this week's episode of Snake Wranglers. Come on, baby. All right. So he's in shed, but this is my largest male in my collection. He is right about 1,800 grams. So you can see the size difference. Largest male in my collection, largest female in my collection. And she's more than double his size. Now, I have heard of males that are over 2,000 grams. It's not unheard of. I don't know how common it is, but that's about what you expect. So if you want a smaller snake, if you're looking for a pet, but you want one that's going to stay a little bit smaller, definitely go with a male. If you want bigger, go with a female. However, keep in mind that she's wearing me out. Not all females are going to get this big. In fact, if they're not breeding, they shouldn't be this big. You would feed them differently. I do feed these breeders every single week. If they weren't breeding, I'd probably feed them a slightly larger meal every 2 to 3 weeks instead of every week. And there are times during the year where I'll just take a week off and I'll give them a break because I know they've been eating enough. But there you go. This guy's a desert ghost. I can't remember if I said that. He's possible het for clown. So we may try to prove that out this year. But he's in shed and he still looks so amazing. Oh, I love these guys. So that's it for today. I'm going to go stretch a little bit after this python wrangling. But remember, like this video, please. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel. And comment down below what you think I should name this big lady here. Y'all have a great day. And remember, share the love of reptiles with anybody you can.